Oh, hello everyone. Good morning from Cyprus. Right now it's 8 a.m. here and I'm so excited. I can see people in this call from all over the world. I can see people from Asia. I can see people from Australia. I can see people from French Islands. Basically, we have people from, I don't know, 4 or 5 different time zones. And I'm so happy. I can see so many old friends in this call. I can see so many familiar faces. I can see people that I have traveled the world with. I see people that I have traveled in Asia with, in the Great Wall of China. I can see people that I have traveled in Bora Bora in the past. I have seen people that I have traveled in Australia with, and I'm so happy and so excited to be with all of you guys. But at the same time, I can see people that I believe is the first time ever in my life that I can see their faces. And that's so exciting. I mean, being able to see people from different parts of the world, people that you had the opportunity to meet in the past, or people that is the first time you ever talking to them, that's something that excites me a lot. For those of you that you don't know me, guys, my name is Giorgio. I'm coming from the small island of Cyprus, a really beautiful island close to Greece, and I'm pretty sure that many of you, especially the Asian friends of us, they know pretty well Greece and the Greek islands especially. And you are invited in this call today because we are about to launch something big in the continent of Asia and Australia. Just a little bit of introduction about me. As I told you, I'm coming from Cyprus. 15 years ago, I was a TV show presenter in Cyprus. I was hosting one of the big, on one of the biggest national channels in Cyprus, a music show. And 13 years ago, I got invited from some friends to see something that I had really no idea what it was about. Some friends of mine invited me to see a big opportunity, but that back then was about to launch in Cyprus. And basically that was a network marketing business. I had no idea about sales. I had no idea about network marketing. I just knew how to go on stage and talk about my topics in the TV show that I was doing, which basically was for music and lifestyle show. But when I got invited in this meeting, I really liked the energy. I really liked the people that were there. And I just said to myself, if you are feeling that good with this energy and with this kind of people, something goes good here. And that's how basically I started back then into the network marketing industry. I don't know how many of you are involved in network marketing or not, doesn't matter. That's how I got started my entrepreneurship career 13 years ago. And basically, that wasn't my beginning into the network marketing industry. That was my beginning into the personal development industry. I had no idea what personal development was. I've never in my life attended any personal development seminar. I've never in my life read any personal development book. And when I joined this industry of network marketing, I had people around me that pushed me to go to a personal development training seminar. And I believe that was the beginning of my journey. I was like 27 years old back then, but I truly believe that that was the shifting moment. That was the real beginning of my real life. That's when I started exploring the world. That was when I started knowing more myself and improving myself and my skills in several areas of my life. So I started as a student in the personal development industry, but over the years, after attending so many seminars, after reading so many books, after hearing so many audios, I started getting passionate with it. And then I was able to start traveling the world and train people all over the world in several areas of life. I was educating people in financial education, in mental things, and many other aspects of personal development. So for 13 years, I was building my network marketing business. As a matter of fact, the team, the organization grew up to 300,000 people all over the world. And that was how I got to know some of the people that are in the call today. And I was able to travel the world. But we all know that 3 years ago, COVID hit. And that was something huge. I believe that that was the biggest moment that happened in life, that at the same time, people from all over the world, they were experiencing the same situation. And I know that for some people, that was a negative situation. From some others, it was a positive situation. And I know that right now, some people are going like, come on, Josh, how it's possible to have a positive situation through COVID? But it is possible for people that they were well trained their mindset, for people that they were prepared for hard situation. That wasn't so hard. And I'm pretty sure that you have read so many stories of personalities who grew so much through the COVID period. So many organizations or businesses that they have launched through the COVID period, because that was a moment that many people took the opportunity to work more on themselves or their businesses and had the opportunity to expand and grow that in a really higher level. My business back then wasn't in the best situation, as because it was in the travel industry. And at that time, I was started thinking what I'm gonna do, what is gonna be the next step of my life. And my closest partner, some of you might know him, Stavros, actually he's my cousin as well. We grew up together. We had so many meetings and brainstormings and masterminds, and we were thinking what can be our next step, what we can do that can have an impact, not just in our lives, but also being able to help and support other people. And the reality is that through this COVID period, we realized that there are people out there that they don't know what they don't know. They don't know the existence of personal development. They don't know that there is a way for them to work on themselves and prepare themselves to be able to overcome the next hard situation, because obviously COVID is not going to be the only one hard situation that happens in our life. There will be again something else that it will come and it will be difficult again. But again, there will be people that they will be ready to experience that and learn from that and grow from that, and people that they won't know what to do. And since we knew how important personal development is, we really wanted to start doing something in the personal development area. And we wanted to start launching and doing seminars all over the world to help people find out more about this industry. And the past 15 years, we had the opportunity to meet so many amazing personalities, so many amazing coaches and trainers. But if you ask me today, who is the one who helped you the most? Or if you ask my partners, who's the one who helped you the most and enlightened you the most and showed you the way and teach you the way on how to take yourself to the next level, and then how to be able to help others to get themselves in the next level? There is only one person, and that's the person that I was admiring from the first moment that I had the opportunity to meet him. And the funny story is that if you go on YouTube and check some videos of mine, where every single time I was going on recognition, I was always saying this name. There was only one name that I was mentioning every single time. And that's the person that I already told you I was admiring. It's a person that he was able to train the last 10 years over 1 million people. I can see him as the person who knows how to create not just successful personalities, but create leaders who create leaders. And as I told you, he was the main reason that I came where I came at the moment. He was the main trainer and educator for the past 15 years of my life. And that was the person that we really wanted to have as a partner on this journey with us. So after some meetings we had with Stavros Zinonos and this gentleman, we decided to launch Life Mastery Trainings, the company that we are having right now, and we are going to present to you today. So the name of this gentleman is Mr. Mark Aceda. I know that some of you, most of you in the call, you already had the opportunity to listen to it from him, to go on seminars with him. And we decided to launch this company, Life Mastery Trainings, with his best buddy as well, one of the person that he's behind the scenes every single time that Mark Aceda is. His name is Monico Perez. And the four of us, a year and a half ago, we launched Life Mastery Trainings in Europe. The past 2 years, we have already run some big events in Europe. As a matter of fact, our first event was last March, and we had as a special guest one of the most well-known speakers in the world, Mr. Robert Kiyosaki. That was a big event in Europe, and we had another 2 big events in Europe, but there were so many requests from friends and partners from different parts of the world. So recently, after some conversations with some really successful partners and really well-known partners in the industry of personal development we have from Australia and Asia, we took the decision to launch officially Life Mastery Trainings in the continent of Asia and Australia. So today, you're going to have the opportunity and the pleasure to listen from one of the best speakers in the world, one of the best trainers in the world. We were last week in Paris for a mastermind meeting with 4 other friends of us. And again, after knowing this person for more than 12 years, every single time I'm listening to him, it's like it's the first time. And I realized that every single time I'm listening to him, there is space for me to learn more things from this person. And that's the reason I really admire him. So I'm going to invite right now on the virtual stage my mentor and my partner, all the way from Dallas, Texas, Mr. Mark Aceda.
Well, thank you, George. I appreciate that. And I thank everybody for getting on. Here at Dallas, it's about 12:15 a.m. on Sunday. So we're finishing the day strong or starting it strong, no matter how you look at it. And, you know, we really are eager and excited to tell you what's going on. So I know there's people like George alluded to who know who George is, who, you know, work with us in the past. And I know there's a bunch of you who have never heard of us before, which is great, you know, so we'll address both situations. My story is I'll tell it super quickly. Went to college, got a degree in political science. I was going to be the first one in my family who had graduated college, and I was, you know, going to go on and do big things because my whole family was blue collar. And once I got out of college, the doors of opportunity didn't exactly swing wide open. As a matter of fact, I had very little opportunities. I got very disillusioned. So by the time I was 27 years old, I was really just living paycheck to paycheck, but more importantly, I really had no plans. I had no optimism. I had no dreams, if you will, of doing anything special in my life or making a lot of money or owning anything nice. And I was introduced to a network marketing company. And by the way, I had no interest in it. I thought that stuff was horrible and ridiculous and it was a scam. But I was introduced to it by a friend, so I decided to take a look. When I looked at it, it looked pretty good, so I tried it. But for 8 or 9 months, I was terrible at it because I didn't know what I was doing. And it's like anything else. If you have no idea how to do anything and you try to do it, the odds are you're going to fail because you don't know what you're doing. The 9th month, I did something that I thought was actually something I wasn't that excited about doing, but I did it. And I went to a training, and I just didn't think the training was going to be that big of a deal. And I certainly didn't was going to think it was going to change my business, let alone change my life. But the reality was, at that weekend seminar in San Diego, California, I met a guy who was making over $100,000 a month. Now, this is back in the 1980s. So that was, I mean, that would be good money now, but it was ridiculous money back then. And he taught us exactly how to do that business. But that's what I went there for. I went there for this rich guy to teach us techniques on how to invite, how to present, how to close, how to train, how to build an organization, so on and so forth. What I didn't go there for was what George referred to as personal development. As a matter of fact, at that seminar, they didn't say a word, they didn't use the phrase personal development. But looking back on it, 50% of the content was indeed personal development. There's a trainer named Jim Rohn who said, when you work at your craft, the how to's of how to do your business, you'll make a living. When you work on yourself is where you make a fortune. I had never heard that stuff before. I had never heard of a book called Think and Grow Rich. I had never heard of how to win friends and influence people. I had never heard of the power of positive thinking. So I got inundated that weekend, and it was amazing to me. And I took the information home and I used it, and I did a little bit better. But thank God I signed up for the next seminar, and I went back 3 weeks later and I had a similar experience. I learned more, and I got more excited. And I went back 3 or 4 weeks later, and I started going to seminars consistently, like ravenously, working with the same trainer again and again and again. And then I started bringing my team members to the event. And before you knew it, my income just went through the roof. I've made more money in a month than I used to make in a year. And at that point, I thought I had hit the peak of all peaks. Like, to make $20,000, $30,000 in a month to me at that point, I thought I was kind of must be the richest guy in the world. But little did I know, as time went on, my income would go way, way, way higher, because when you train and teach other people to make $20,000, $30,000 a month in that kind of business, your income just goes a lot higher. Well, long story short, I was in network marketing for over 20 years, had a lot of success. But when I look back at it, the reason I had success was not because I was talented. It's because I followed a very definite system. And over all of those years, I always had consistent success. And it was because we used the same system. In the year 2000, I decided to not do network marketing as a business builder anymore, but start my own seminar company and train and teach people how to do it. And as the years have gone by, we've expanded well beyond network marketing, into a lot of different industries like insurance and real estate and so on and so forth. But mainly, we are working with entrepreneurs who want to be better, who want to earn more money, but not just earn more money. People that truly want to have a better life, a more fulfilled life. So our company's name is Life Mastery. It's not business mastery. It's not money mastery, because money is definitely important. One of my favorite teachers back in the day, Zig Ziglar, said, money isn't everything, but it's right up there with oxygen. So it's pretty damn important. So we will definitely teach people how to make money, but more importantly, we bring in the other aspects. We have 4 pillars of our life, which are financial, physical, spiritual, and social. And we help people blend all of those together and teach them how to achieve greatness in all 4 of those areas. So as George mentioned to you, we started our process last March in Europe. And that's where George and Stavros are from. So we decided to focus on our European market. And again, a big reason why we've got a lot of success to start off with is because we have had a lot of people who are students in the past who love the training. So let me just pause again and say this: like the entirety of my career, over 35 years as a public speaker, doing signature seminars for a long, long time, the only people who could go to those events were people who were in the company I was a contracted trainer for. So the vast majority of the people were never able to go to them because they were private events. Well, the idea with Life Mastery that George and Stavros approached me with is, why don't we do a public company where anyone can come? So you don't have to be in a specific network marketing company or a specific insurance company or whatever. As a matter of fact, you don't even have to be in a company. You could just be a housewife and attend the event. You could be an athlete and attend the event. You could be a politician and attend the event. Anyone who's trying to achieve a higher level of success in whatever they're doing. So that's an important distinction for us, because the first time in my entire life of training of over 35 years, we've been able to do these open trainings. So the word has really started to spread now in Europe, because a lot of people like what we did in the past and they want to reattend now. But the other thing is, a lot of those people built their sales teams the way they built up such large incomes. I believe in the last company I was in, we had I don't know, several thousand people making over $100,000 a year, and we had over 100 people making over $1 million. So it was a very proven entity. We did $3 or $4 billion in revenue over a 15-year period. So there was a lot of success there, but a lot of it came from people not just attending the events, but bringing their sales organization. So what we started to see in Europe is we're seeing people who are in different companies, different organizations, different industries are starting to plug their people into our events, because we like to do events on a regular basis, on a quarterly basis, really, at least every 3 to 4 months. We want to be in each and every part of the world. So again, we started with Europe, and now we're moving into Asia, and we're moving into Australia. And that's obviously why we wanted to get you on, just to let you know what was going on, let you know about our first event. But the whole idea is partially to reignite, or not reignite, but to reunite would be the right way of saying it. A lot of the people from our past community, and as I look through the participants, to the people who logged on tonight, I see a lot of friends from the past, from countries all over the place. So that's very gratifying. But more importantly, we want to create an absolute army, or a family, would probably be a better expression, of people who really are excited about taking the next step in their life. And George mentioned, COVID, I mean, real briefly in the introduction. And most people suffered during COVID. And a lot of people suffered more they suffered more mentally and emotionally than they suffered physically. And that's because a lot of people never really dove into personal development. The expression I love to use now is, we don't know what we don't know. When I went to that first event 35 years ago, I didn't know what personal development was, and I sure as hell didn't think I needed it. So our goal is to truly reach out to as many people as possible, and spread the word and give them the chance to absolutely take control of their lives. And part of that is definitely increasing your finances. We spend a lot of time at our events focusing on developing your skills to help develop your finances. But we go further than just earning the money, because earning money is one skill, but what you do with money once you have it is a completely another skill. I don't know if you know this, but the statistics show that first time millionaires, I would be considered a first time millionaire. And when we pass our income on to our children, that 80% of the children who inherit the money from a first time millionaire lose it. They don't pass it on to their children. And that's disappointing. So the reason for that is because a lot of times the first time millionaires pass along the money, but they don't pass on the skills and knowledge on how they earn the money. So part of what we're doing is teaching financial literacy, how to be good stewards of money once you make a lot of money. But again, it goes so much more than just that financial component. So before I go further, because I want to talk to you about our event that we are launching coming up here in just a few minutes. But before we do that, I've got two gentlemen who are on with us tonight. And one of them is someone I worked for a long time. He was with me for the entire 15-year run in the last company, had a tremendous tremendous amount of success, and he's excited about joining us now that we're expanding into Asia and Australia. And the other gentleman has actually been with us since we've been on this journey. And the crazy thing is, even though we've been doing our events only in Europe, even though this gentleman is from Australia, he's been dragging Australians halfway across the world to attend our events. So it's been pretty doggone exciting. And, you know, he's someone who was one of our students many, many years ago. When he found out we were doing Life Mastery, he actually reached out to me and wanted to know if it would be okay if he could attend the events. Someone I remember so well. You know, at that point, when I first knew him, he had a lot of raw talent and a lot of, you know, desire, but he had not developed into a mature business person. Well, fast forward 8 or 10 years later, now he owns his own company. And when I look at him, I'm amazed at the businessman he's grown, not just the businessman, the man that he's grown into. So the first gentleman I'd like to bring on, just to tell you a little bit about his experience so far with Life Mastery, is the one and only Mr. Michael Slogger.
Hey, Mark, and wow, thank you for the beautiful and kind words, and thank you everyone for jumping on. So, guys, I just wanted to share. First of all, I'm equally as excited as, you know, Mark and the rest of the team. But what really gets me fired up is I'm looking around in the attendees list and I'm seeing names like Jefferson Santos. And if you don't know who Jefferson Santos is, he's an industry heavyweight. I'm looking on the cameras. I'm seeing my good friend, Mr. James Lee. James Lee, one of the, you know, guys that brought over 1 million customers into an organization. I mean, these are guys who are industry legends. And I always say, you know, proximity is power. And some of you guys are on a Zoom right now with some of the most outstanding, incredible humans in the entire space. And what really fires me up and excites me about this is I took a quick second to go over some notes from an event that I attended about 10 years ago when I first really met Mark Assetto. And the reason why I went over it was I'm a big believer in personal development. I'm a very, very big believer in goal setting. Now, a lot of us like to set goals, but we set the kind of goals that we set that a lot of you will make come New Year's Eve. And we all know by the end of January, they won't exist. But when you get to an event or you really participate in personal development at the level that Mark is talking about, and you go through the kind of processes that Mark can take you through, the kind of processes that I've been through, you have the ability to participate in what are really not just life-changing, but world-changing tasks and opportunities that you just won't ever get to do anywhere else. Now, I didn't know what personal development was when I first got started with it, but I trusted the person who told me that I should probably trust Mark. And the reason why I trusted them, they were making the kind of money I wanted to make, they lived the kind of life that I wanted to live. But more importantly, they had all of the things that I truly thought that I wanted and desired at that time. So I said, if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. So I went along to an event that Mark was doing, and we wrote down these goal cards. And back then, I was a young guy, like Mark said. Mark said I had a lot of raw talent. That was his very polite way of saying I was highly unpolished and not very good. But I had desire and I had passion. And I wrote down some things that at that time I had no idea how I was going to achieve. And this is the true power of events. This is what I really want you guys to understand, is sometimes you don't know what it is that you want. And a lot of the time you definitely don't know how to get there. And that's why you need to be in these circles. That's why you need to be at these events. It's why you need to have proximity to the kind of people whose names I just shared. And 10 years ago, I wrote down on a card that says, I'm a well-trained certified public speaker. I don't know what a public speaker is, but what I can tell you, in those 10 years, I got very, very well trained, and I've spoken in public a lot. I wrote down here that I'm an Anthony Robbins Platinum Partner. Now, I never became that, but I did get into an inner circle that does cost, in Australian money, about $100,000 a year that I can now afford to participate in. 10 years ago, I wrote down on one of these cards that I wanted to make just $10,000 a month. Now I spend that kind of money just on personal development. When I went to this event, I'd never read a book in my life. I wrote down that I'm a book reading machine. 10 years forward, I'm now the man that recommends books to other people. When I went to my first event, I was overweight. I didn't look after myself the way that I should, and truth be told is I ate poorly. I wrote down here that I eat and train like an athlete. At 40 years old, I'm now in the best shape of my life, and I probably eat the best I've ever eaten. I'm a boy, so I wrote down, I love driving my C63, but there's nothing better than enjoying my supercar on the weekends. A year after I wrote that down, I bought my first ever Mercedes C63, and I bought an Audi V10 R8 supercar. I wrote down here, there's a heat. But I wrote down one here that I never knew that I never knew what I was going to do with this. But I wrote down, I speak with God. And the reason was I wasn't a very spiritual person. 6 months after writing that down and going through this process with Mark, I found myself in Israel. I was in the ancient city. I just finished praying on the Western Wall, and I went to the final resting place of Jesus Christ. How does a guy who never spoke with God end up in the most holy place of holy? But the last one that I wrote down, which is super important, was I live for moments with my children, and I spend quality time with them regularly. I'm very proud to say that going to that event 10 years ago, I've never had to work a job. I've never had to ask anyone what time I can have off to be with my kids, and I spend more time with my children than anyone else, and it's the power of events. So I'm very, very, very grateful for Marcus Setup. And when I found out he was doing these events and we went to the events, the one thing that I said is, Mark, your events changed my life. The cards that you got me to write down 10 years later on serve their purpose, but not everyone can come to Europe. So I need to bring you here. And I'm very grateful for them. I'm very, very proud of the proximity that I have to them. And one last thing that I'll share with you is this, is what these guys have put together. If you know me and you look at everything that I've achieved in the time that I have, I want you to know it's because of these men. And I wouldn't have been able to do any of it if 10 years ago I didn't go to an event that literally changed my life. So I'm passionate about personal development. I'm passionate about Marcus Setup. I'm passionate about the people that we're currently in proximity with. And I truly hope I get to see you guys at some of these events that they plan to do all around the world. So thank you.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that, brother. I love those cards, and I love the success you've been able to achieve, to say the least. And, you know, we are very excited to finally bring our events into your backyard because, again, I know it's going to be a lot easier for your people to get to our next event because it's so much closer. So we're excited to have your partnership for sure. The other gentleman I want to introduce you to, I alluded to, he actually already mentioned his name. And, you know, this guy is truly a leader of leaders. When I first met him, you know, I knew he was successful. And the first thing that dawned on me was how humble he was, how nice he was, how little of an ego he had. And over the years I worked with him, he reached the highest rank in his company. I think he helped somewhere between 100 and 200 people reach the highest rank of his company. And if you've ever been to network marketing, to get that many people to that is legendary. I mean, his team was producing well over $1 million a month. He had well over 1 million people on his team. I think over the course of the time he was there, his sales team did over $1 billion in sales. So, you know, he is an absolute master. And again, he, like me, really believes in personal development, but more importantly, he believes in live events. And that's why he's so excited to support us with this. So I just thought we could hear a few words with him on why he's excited to be here. Mr. Jefferson Santos.
All right, Mark. Thanks for having me on here. What's up, everybody? It's great to see a lot of familiar faces, a lot of friends here. And, you know, here's what's happening. You know, we've got a new year upon us coming up here at 2024. I know all of us, we want a better life for our families. We want a better life for ourselves. You know, since the pandemic, a lot of people are still trying to reorient themselves in what they're called to do, what their purpose is. And, you know, like Marcus said, like a lot of us here, we kind of found our purpose, or our purpose found us. You know, the reason why we're here is we want to get better, but we also want to help other people get better. We want to impact people, right? We want to be an example, and so our purpose is aligned. And that's one of the things when Mark and Stavros and George and Monaco started doing this, I was like, dude, this is amazing. You know, as it's spreading around, it's like, I want to get involved. I want to continue to live my purpose just like they are and just like you are. And I think the world needs this more than anything in the world. They need positivity. They need certainty. They need leadership. I wrote down a couple of things here. You know, you can change your life by yourself temporarily, but transformation comes through community. And this is what's happening here with Life Mastery Trainings, is there's a community that a lot of us are kind of familiar with, but there's a lot of you that don't know some of us yet, and you're just getting to know. And there's a lot of us that have been, you know, listening and learning from Mark for well over a decade. You know, I've seen this, I've witnessed this happen for well over a decade, almost 15 years traveling the world with Mark. And so you know, it needs to continue to happen. Matter of fact, the stronger word is it must happen. More people need to hear from Mark's training. They need to hear about the other people he brings into the circle. Why? Because we got to get better. We got to make the world better. I know that sounds cliche. That sounds like a big thing to do, but it starts with yourself, then it starts with your family. And that's how we could do that. And the other thing is, you know, because of the pandemic, a lot of us, obviously, we're used to Zoom, we're used to watching videos. There's a lot of stuff we can learn from there. But when it comes to live events, you're in a room with other people that want the same thing that you do. We want to get better, right? So when you're in a room with people, there's a revelation that's happening in that room, and then you pay attention and you focus. And when you can pay attention and you can focus, you can actually make a decision. And when you make a decision, that's when you transform your life. Right. And so what's happening is some of us are in this world of overwhelm. Why do I feel overwhelmed? It's because you don't make the decisions you're supposed to make, because you only have so much real estate on your front burner right here. Right. We got to make the decision, move on, and go on to the bigger and better things. And so by these live events that we're starting to have again, obviously, it's making a big impact. And a lot of you need this. I needed this. Like literally scientifically, something happens to your body with the oxytocin and the serotonin when you give people hugs, you know, 10 hugs a day and 15 hugs a day. We miss that type of stuff that a lot of us experienced around the world. And we did this arenas around the world. So it's coming to Australia. It's coming to Asia. I look forward to helping everybody impact more people with Mark and George and Stavros and Monaco and all of you here. This is just the beginning. You know, we have a new year coming upon us. I know that a lot of us have been looking for something, have been, you know, kind of waiting for something. And guess what? There's no accident that you're here on this webinar today. I'm super excited to be a part of this. I'm excited, and I'm going to hand it back over to you, Mark. Thanks.
Thank you, brother. And you can see what a great speaker Jefferson is in that short period of time, and Michael. So just so you know, I'll be leading the trainings, but my partners are great speakers. And our objective is to create a community of some of the greatest speakers on earth. As a matter of fact, we are definitely looking to create a very long-term thing together, a community, a thing where meeting together in person is a big part of it, and getting to actually know each other. You know, we had part of our organization known as the club. We were just in Paris last week for a whole week. Michael was there with us, and we got to really know each other, and we got to do some extremely cool life experiences that a lot of people probably wouldn't have done on their own if they weren't a part of our organization. So we are about really living life, but doing it for a long period of time and doing it together. And it definitely isn't just about me, it's about us, you know what I mean? So for those of you who are aspiring speakers, we are definitely looking to develop one of the strongest speaking teams in the history of the world right here within our company. So we are definitely going to be doing all of our main events. I just want to mention to you, we do have a training called Speaking Mastery for anyone who wants to be a great public speaker or presenter. So we'll be doing that on the continent of Asia and on Australia separately. We'll be doing a training we call Unstoppable. Unstoppable is all about finances. To make it very simple, it's about earning money. It's about building business. It's about creating equity, but then it's also about really understanding how to spend money, invest money, and so on and so forth. So that's our one that's extremely focused on finances. And again, we'll be doing that in Australia and in Asia. One of the biggest ones we do is called A View from the Edge. That's probably our ultimate signature event. That's a very unique training. It hits all four of our pillars: financial, physical, spiritual, emotional. Social. It's really hard to get into, so I'm not even going to spend a lot of time right now trying to explain it. For those of you who've been to it before, you know why it's so important. We're going to do that, and again, we'll do that on both separate continents. But the first event we're doing is another one of our most popular ones, and we've chosen a location where we can actually bring people from Asia and people Australia together. So I want to get to our first event that we're doing. If you could bring up the slides there, Mr. Perez, for me, please. So we will be doing our initial event called Breakthrough. So let me explain Breakthrough a little bit. Again, it's designed to really get into each area of your life. When you show up at this event, we're going to give you a workbook. And throughout the course of the next 4 days and nights, long days and nights, I'll be your facilitator, but you are the one who are doing the work. You've got a book and you do projects by yourself. And to say you're going to have some aha moments will be a gross understatement. You know, Socrates, the great philosopher from ancient Greece, said, an unexamined life is one that's not worth living. And so many of us are so friggin' busy. We're busy, but we're busy and we're seeing that no matter how hard we work, we're just barely getting by. And we don't have enough time to spend with our kids. And our physical fitness isn't what it should be. So we pause people for this time, and we always do this in beautiful exotic locations, which we'll get to in a minute. And the idea is to put your cell phone down, put your business down, and just really look in the mirror. That's what I'm going to help you do at this event. Take a good, long, hard look in the mirror, and we will focus on those 4 pillars. And the great thing about Breakthrough is you actually, at the end of it, we do the goal setting session that Michael referred to. Now, a lot of people do goal setting sessions, and I love to emphasize setting. A lot of people have set goals in their lives. A lot of people have made goals in their lives, but very few people have achieved them. So what we're doing in this process is we start the event off by getting rid of all the garbage that's holding you back. And again, most people are unaware. We have so much unconscious psychological crap in our head, so much emotional baggage we're carrying around, that it makes it almost impossible. Imagine trying to climb to the top of Mount Everest, but you got a backpack on your back that weighs about 400 pounds. I mean, I don't care if you're the strongest human in the world. If you have that much weight on your back trying to climb a mountain that steep, you're not going to get there. So what we do is we let all the weight out of your backpack so you can climb. Now, climbing a mountain is not easy, but if you don't have all that weight in your backpack, at least it's a viable, doable thing. So we get rid of all that garbage. Then we spend 4 days, 3.5 days building you up and giving you, I always say this, we're born to win and then programmed to lose. So many of us have such a bad self-image. You've all seen the image of I'm sure you've seen this, the little kitten who's looking into a full-length mirror and sees back the reflection of a roaring lion, and it's so inspiring. Well, I got news for you. 35 years ago, I was a lion, and when I looked in the mirror, I saw a kitten, because that's just the way I saw myself. You know, I didn't have people around me who spoke life into me and who built me up. So I just saw the worst parts of me, and I had very low self-esteem, and a lot of other people do the same thing. But by going through this process and seeing who I really was, Because again, get what I said, I was a lion, but I didn't know I was a lion. So since I thought I was a kitten, I was earning like a kitten. I was basically settling for whatever life put in my path. This event will show you how to demand the most out of every single aspect of your life. And it ends with a goal setting session where we actually program your unconscious mind to use something you probably heard of called the law of attraction to attract these things that you want to achieve into your life. And they are balanced goals in every one of these 4 areas of your life. And the crazy thing is, I'm really grateful to have Michael have some of his blue cards and read them tonight. But there are thousands of people who wrote down goals like this and achieved them. And by the way, when we teach you how to do a goal, that there's an A goal, a B goal, and a C goal. Most people do A and B goals, which are things that you've either already done before or that you're pretty sure you're able to do. A C goal is something you've never done before. You don't have the foggiest clue of how you could possibly do it. And we have people set these C goals all the time and then achieve them. So this is the event we're going to be doing. We're super excited about it. So if you can go to the next slide, Mr. Perez, please, we will show you where it's going to be. So we're going to be in May. So we have plenty of time to get this up and running. And we're going to be in Bali, Indonesia. So I'm sure most of you geographically now understand how we are doing an event where we can have people from Asia. Obviously, Bali is technically in Asia, but it's very close for a lot of Australians to be able to get to it. So we're going to be able to do this event together. Now, since it's our first event that we're doing in that part of the world, we have selected a relatively small venue. So I have a strong suspicion this is going to sell out pretty quickly. So again, if you go to the next slide, it gives you a little bit more of a look of the area that we're going to be in, but also what the seminar itself looks like. You can see it's a very casual affair. We start at 9 o'clock in the morning and work till 9 or 10 o'clock at night with breaks throughout the course of the day. But to dig into each area of your life and do the projects that we really need to be able to do, like I said, this is an all in thing. It's an immersion workshop, but you will, because you're going to be working in small groups. We break the room up. You can see people sitting at tables. In the lower right-hand corner there, you can see people having a discussion. So you work on a project by yourself. Then within your small group of 6, you have a discussion amongst each other about what you all got out of it and learn insights from each other. And the fun thing is you'll be in a group like that the whole time, but we rotate the groups. We move groups on a regular basis. So by the time you're done, you've pretty much met everybody in the room and you've had an opportunity to be with several people in multiple groups. So a lot of people, more so than any of our other events, leave this event and develop some really strong lifelong friendships, which is awesome. So the place we're doing the event is going to be the Hilton Bali Resort. So if you go to that slide, Mr. Perez, please, you can see this is a absolutely beautiful place. And when we do this, guys, we look at it like you're genuinely rebooting your life. You know, part of what we do here is we talk about if you were going to build your dream home, you can even look at that beautiful building there. If you were going to build a beautiful hotel, how would you know what to do or how to build it? You would create a blueprint. So what we do is we help you create a blueprint of what the rest of your life is going to be. But because we want the rest of our life to be like paradise, we always do this event in paradise. And while we're in the seminar room, a lot of the time, we also allow the people who attend this plenty of time to be outside the room and decompress and be with yourself and really kind of go through what you're going through in this beautiful, exotic, incredible location. So there's 4 days of seminar, the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And then the 9th, we encourage you to stick around. It's not mandatory. The training technically ends on the 8th, but on the 9th, all of the executives will stay, I'll stay, and we get a chance to hang out and really talk to people and find out what you learned and what your questions are to go to the next step and so on and so forth. It's just an incredible day of fun. So I strongly encourage you to stick around for the 9th as well. So we're very, 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 very excited about this event. Now, the big question, of course, is how much does it cost? So before we go to the next slide, I want to share with you that it's kind of hard to compare this event to other events. If I was going to compare it to anything, I would compare it to Tony Robbins' Date with Destiny type of event. If you've never been to that, it's similar. I think Tony's Date with Destiny is a 5 or 6 day event. And it's very similar. It hits all the different areas of your life. They go about it in a bit of a different fashion. We certainly didn't model this to be like Date with Destiny. We were doing this either before they started doing it or certainly right around the same time. This is the same program we've been doing for over 25 years. But the point is, Date with Destiny is $5,000 per person. So it's a very expensive event. And there are other events that are similar to what we're doing here. And some of them are actually more than $5,000 a person. So again, this is not necessarily for everyone, and we understand that. But our goal with our company is not to focus on the business aspect as our first thing. And I know that sounds a little weird, but there's a book I love called Start with Why, which is written by a guy named Simon Sinek. And he really talks about you've got to be passionate about what you're doing. And if you can deliver people, over deliver phenomenal value, then you'll make money even if your products are not overwhelmingly expensive. So our goal is to bring you a training that's better than any other personal development training you could possibly get to, but to be able to do it at a greatly reduced price to what our competition is doing. So we are going to be doing this initial Asian event at the price tag of $14.97. So all of our pricing is in euros because we're from Europe. Our company is based out of Cyprus. So Monaco, if you can go to that next slide, please. It's $14.97 plus the VAT. Okay, so we can't do anything about the VAT. That's, obviously the government charges what they do. But I think you can already see that price is dramatically lower than what I mentioned with you, with the other companies that are doing phenomenal personal growth and development. So I know that's not cheap, but I got to be honest with you, in today's world, it's also not that expensive. This is a situation, guys, where go back to a couple of the cards that Michael read there. I mean, if you were to, you write down 12 goal cards when you get done attending Breakthrough, I got news for you. If one of your financial goal cards comes true, just one of them, then you will have probably earned 10, 20, 30 times what you paid to attend this event. So I have very, very little doubt that the people who attend this are going to be able to get their money out of it like quickly. The bottom line, though, is the odds are you're going to achieve significantly more than just one of your goals. And in many cases for people, the biggest things they get coming out of this event are things that don't have anything to do with finance or business. So $14.97 is our price. Now, here's what's exciting about what we're doing. Most everybody who is coming to one of our events, we've done this through a word of mouth process. So you'll see our stuff on social media. And by the way, please follow us on Instagram and Facebook and all that kind of good stuff. But we are more or less, instead of doing a lot of advertising and hiring a room full of professional salespeople and call centers and stuff like that, we are simply going out to people that we've worked with in the past, who we know that they love our events, or anyone for that matter. It could be someone we haven't worked with in the past, but someone who loves our events. And we've created a team of what we call ambassadors. And our global ambassadors are people that are spreading the word for us about our events. And here's why it's important for you to understand about a global ambassador. Global ambassadors are given discount codes. So if someone were to just go to lifemastertrainings.com, and we'll give you that in a minute here, so you can register for the event if you like to. But if you go to lifemastertrainings.com and you go to register for this event, it's $14.97. So people without a discount code are going to pay $14.97. Now, on this call, I'm sure somebody on this call has gotten you a discount code, but if they haven't, don't worry about it. I'll cover that in a minute. But if someone asked you to be on the call, and if you do have a discount code, so go to the website, you'll see Breakthrough, you'll see $14.97, but when you go to check out in the shopping cart and you put in your discount code, you will get a significant discount when you check out. As a matter of fact, the price will go from $14.97 all the way down to $7.47. So we're literally giving you 50% off. So could we change the slide, please? There you go. Special offer, $7.47. So guys, again, that's a gigantic discount. Now, compare what I said earlier, what people pay to attend Date with Destiny, about 5,000 euros, and now you're able to attend this event for only $7.47. Now, that is the price for now. That is not going to last very long. That's our initial offering, but I think you can see why we feel this is going to sell out very, very quickly, because at that significantly discounted price and with not too many seats available in the room, I think you can see why we feel like we're going to sell out really, really quickly. So we're excited, guys. And at that price, we hope that we feel like we're making you an offer you can't refuse. So not only you're going to be able to attend the event, but you can also spread the word and get lots of other people. Our goal is 100% to make this the most phenomenal personal development event that's ever been done, because we're launching our company in this part of the world, and we want to create raving fans. We want to have everyone be like Michael and be like Jefferson, gone through this event and get absolutely phenomenal results. Now, for those of you, I know somebody's probably panicking going, now, wait a minute, I don't have a discount code. I don't have a discount code. So if you go to the next slide, please, it shows you how to obtain a discount code if you don't have one. Simply send an email to sales@lifemastertrainings.com. I know for most of you, again, you're on tonight because someone who's an ambassador with us, like Michael or like Jefferson, they asked you to be, to join us. So you should have your discount codes. But if somehow somebody saw this on our social media posts or whatever the case might be, and you do not have a discount code, simply send us an email and we will make sure we get you something here. I'm not worried about the event selling out in the next hour or two. So by the time you send us an email and we reply, no worries, you'll still be able to get in, you'll be able to get your ticket, you'll definitely be able to get your discount code. Now, one thing that we're working out for this event is what we're going to do with different language translations. I can see people on here tonight from Korea. I can see people from Indonesia. I can see people from French Polynesia. I'm sure we have some people who speak Mandarin on tonight, so Japanese. So we are willing to go ahead and translate into whatever languages there's a demand to be able to do that. As of right now, I know we've already had people who've told us point blank that they want to have French translation, and that's going to be for our friends, in Tahiti and French Polynesia in general. So that will happen. But as we have our ambassadors reach out to us, I anticipate that we'll be adding 2-3 other languages, probably languages that are spoken mostly in Asia. I know most of our Australian friends speak English, so that will not be an issue. But we will 100% focus on having excellent translation at our events. We don't want a language barrier to ever be a reason by someone to not attend our events. Now, I have one more thing to talk to you about regarding this event. I'll go through this part quickly. Not virtually everyone, most people who attend this event are going to get that ticket. And that's what we consider our general admission ticket. But listen, guys, every time I go to an event now, and I go to at least one or two a year, and I have for the last 20 years, I'm always the type of person who wants to get the inner circle type experience, the VIP type experience. And I know not everyone is like this, but for those of you who, like, if you're on an airplane, you can't deal with not being in first class. If you're in a hotel, you've got to have a suite. You just really, really want to have that access and that upper level stuff. So let me tell you, at every event, we have what's called an inner circle ticket. Now, there's no discount on the inner circle ticket. It's just the price is what the price is. But let me explain what you get with an inner circle ticket. So first of all, the price is $29.97. So it's significantly higher. But let's quickly list what you get if you're going to be a part of this. So the first thing is we start off with a cocktail party the night before we begin the event. And that will be with all 4 founders, and we will have a great time. By the way, the most inner circle tickets we've ever sold to an event is going to be 30. So we keep this as a very, very, very small group on purpose. So you'll have, before anything even gets started, you're going to have a cocktail party. Second thing we're going to have is the first day we start the actual event at approximately 5 p.m. at about 1700. So in the mid-morning, we're going to have a super cool excursion. Remember, this is in Bali, one of the most exotic, gorgeous locations you could possibly get to. So we're going to have a phenomenal excursion for everyone who's part of the inner circle. It obviously won't cost you anything to do the excursion. Again, you'll be doing it with the founders and the other inner circle people. So that will be doing 2 things before we even get started. Okay, then when the event is concluded, we're going to have a very beautiful exclusive dinner with just the inner circle members and the founders. So again, that last day on May 9th, we're going to go ahead and have everyone get together during the day. We'll have all kinds of fellowship and fun and lots of sharing stories and experiences. I'm sure we'll be by the beach. It'll be a great time. But then that evening, we're going to break away and finish up the entire experience, having more of an intimate dinner and really having some wonderful conversations with the people who are part of this inner circle. The next thing we have for everybody who's part of the inner circle is VIP seating the first night of the event. As it goes on, as I told you, we move all over the place. But the first night you will have assigned seats and you will get VIP seating the first night of the event. The next thing we've got, keep going, there is a free sweatshirt. One thing I will tell you about the room is we always keep our seminar rooms nice and cool, even though we're in an exotic location where the temperature outside is hot. So we'll have a beautiful branded sweatshirt for those who tend to get a little cool. You have a branded workbook and event badge to go on top of that. And then a free audio recording of the event. And don't take that lightly. That is very, very important. You know, 80 to 90% of what you learn when you're there for this time, even though whether general admission or a VIP ticket, 80 to 90% of that information is going to go in one ear and out the other. You won't remember it for a long period of time. But when you have the audio recording and you can listen to it again and again and again and again and again and again, I'm telling you, repetition truly is the mother of all learning. Now, this inner circle, this is our first event in Asia, Australia, obviously. But I can tell you, in Europe, these tickets sell out extremely quickly. So if that's something you're interested in, I'd strongly recommend you take action on that for sure. So that's it as far as the inner circle goes. I just want to go back to our main offer, where again, we're taking our already what I consider to be a very low price for the quality of this event, and we're cutting it in half for a limited time. So use your coupon code. If you don't have one, make sure you reach out to somebody who got you on tonight so you can get that discount code, because again, we don't want anyone who's a part of our Zoom tonight, or especially anyone we've known from the past. We wouldn't want anyone paying full price. If people go and find us online, they can pay full price. But for you guys, we don't want that to be the case. So there's the QR code that can bring you right to the website, or you can just, if you like typing stuff in, you go to lifemasterytrainings.com. On the website, I'll tell you one more thing. We have a very good negotiated rate at the hotel. We picked a hotel where the hotel rate is reasonable. So if you go to booking.com or anything like that, I don't know the exact rate, but it's in the neighborhood of $220 a night. So it's a very reasonable price for the room. But we have a negotiated rate of something like $195. We're at least $30 below whatever the best rate you should be able to find any place. So it's not mandatory by any means to stay at the event that we're hosting at. There's loads of hotels in Bali. There's Airbnbs. You can stay wherever you want to, but staying at the host hotel just make things a lot easier. So we have a limited number of rooms in our room block. When you hit that QR code, or if you go to our website, not only will you be able to register, but you'll also find the information for the hotel. And again, I'm telling you, the hotel room block is first come, first serve. Once it's filled, it's going to be filled. So it's a very, very busy hotel. They were not able to give us a gigantic room block. So there are definitely rooms at that lower price, but it's first come, first serve. So really, guys, most importantly, if you could take the PowerPoint off so I could say a few final words here. Again, I just want to tell you, this is the beginning of a very, very exciting journey for us, man. And again, if we've known you in the past, I am so honored. When we've had people come to these European events, it has been the most remarkable feeling to see people want to come back together again and see the magic we created happen all over again, see the friendships reconnect all over again so quickly, easy, and effortlessly. But there's been many people who be attending our events in Europe that we never met until a year or so ago. So believe me when I tell you, we're welcoming everybody to be a part of what we're doing. We believe over the next 20 or 30 years that we're going to create the #1 seminar company in our space in the entire world. And as I said, we're going to work on creating an army of phenomenal speakers. And you're here at the very, very, very beginning. So we're going to, I'm sure, I know we recorded this, so this will be posted. So if you want to come back and look it over, if you want to pass it on to anyone else, it'll be available. I know we'll be doing plenty of Zooms and stuff like that. If you have organizations where you'd like us to get the information out, we'll be more than happy to do that. But again, I'm just grateful that you took the time to listen to what we're doing. This has been a dream of mine for many, many years, to be able to do seminars that are not for one private company, but they're for anyone who wants to get this information. And I just go back to this. I went to my first seminar, like I told you, I was 27 years old. I lived in a one-room apartment. My car had an accident years earlier, and I couldn't afford to pay the deductible on my insurance. So I couldn't even open the passenger door in the car I was driving. So money can't buy happiness. I know what it's like to not have money, but more importantly, it was me not realizing the power I had within me and not utilizing the God-given talents I had. And going to that event changed everything. Every time we do an event, I can tell you this, when I'm on stage or anyone we're speaking, we're going to be looking for people like that. We're going to have people in the audience who are wonderful people, driven people, passionate people, but for whatever reason, they have not gotten the right direction and the right information. And we're going to create a haven for anyone who has a burning desire to have a great life, that we're going to provide them, because they can no longer go on and say, no one showed me how to do it. We're going to show people exactly how to do it. So again, thank you so much for being on tonight. On behalf of my partners, George, Stavros, and Monaco, we are just honored that you're with us tonight. And we really look forward to seeing a whole bunch of you guys with us in Bali in May. So have a great night. Have a blessed holiday season, whatever holiday you're celebrating. And we'll see you in 2024. Good night.